I posted this video that actually did really well. Like in the algorithm, it kind of took off and did better than my average video. And I titled it Avowed Flops Hard on Release Day, Obsidian and Microsoft in Full On Panic Mode, ? This game feels like it is dead on arrival. So right there in the title statement, it said, like, I feel like these people can't read. It's the same thing that happened when I said in the previous leak video where I'm like, if my source is to be believed, and people just forget the words of if my source is to be believed. They're just like, oh, he went with it as facts. Like, no, I literally say take it with a grain of salt if my source is to be believed. It's the same thing with this. I wrote, this game feels like it's dead on arrival. It feels like it. It doesn't say it is. It says it feels like it, right? So, and I linked my video and put the thumbnail. And I think nothing of it. And this does pretty well. I got 681 hearts. Like that's pretty good for most of my posts. That's above average. And someone shared this with me, that it's trying to be community noted, and the notes suggesting context to be shown with the post. And here's the thing: when you get community noted, it automatically, as far as I understand, takes away the monetization from you, because they don't want to enable clickbait stuff or fake news or false information. So a lot of the wokies, their new approach is trying to get a community note on anything that I post, because a lot of my posts are taking off, and they hate the fact. What do we always say, guys? It's always about the money. And they hate the fact that I'm able to monetize Twitter, even though in the grand scheme, it's not a lot of money. Like, I'll tell you guys straight up, like last month on Twitter, I made like $130 on Twitter. Maybe it was 140, 150 for the month on Twitter. And that's posting like 20 plus, 30 plus times a day with research, information, interesting things. Like, it's a lot of work with what I put into on X. They don't like the fact that I'm able to monetize and make money off of it. So what they're doing is they're starting to try to tag everything that I post with a community note. And they said on this one, Avowed did not flop, since it is a success of Steam sales alone compared to other successful games that have recently launched. That is not a community note. That is not. This is ambiguous language that doesn't mean anything. And you pair that with what I stated in my initial post. I didn't say it was a flop. I did say it flops hard on release day. Obsidian and Microsoft in full panic mode. This game feels like it's dead on arrival. And they're trying to say, oh, it didn't flop. It's like, okay, it feels like it's dead on arrival. It did flop hard. But here's the thing. The numbers are terrible. Here we go. Ready? Tell me that this isn't not up to expectations with Microsoft and Obsidian. Ready? Here we go. That's brutal. Kira says it flopped harder than the Delta plane in Toronto. Holy crap. You said it, not me. Damn. But they're trying to use language and not allow people to speak freely about stuff, because they can't stand the fact that we're right when we talk about stuff. So this game, I said this previously too. I called it peaking at around 25,000 players. Maybe I could see 27. And if it went gangbusters, maybe 30. I think wasn't Asmongold calling like 50 minimum? I don't remember what Hypnotic called or if he called anything at all, but this is so far below what anyone that I saw was predicting that it is, by all accounts, a flop. Now, what they're trying to do is compare this game to other games that came out in the recent time period. I'm like, okay, you got to do that. Well, what were those games' budgets? What were the expectations out of those games? One game does not equal the next game. So even if a game gets half this amount of players, if it was made by one dude instead of a team of 500 people being paid hundreds of millions of dollars, I'd say getting half the amount of players for one person would not be a flop. Mike Yes says, sounds like they're coping. 100%, a lot of cope. And here's the funniest part about it. Ready for this? Avowed did not flop since it is a success on Steam sales alone compared to other successful games that have recently launched. And then they link The Gamer and Screen Rant. Those are two very trustworthy news sources. What could possibly go wrong? So let's check it. Let me move all these ads out of the way. Holy crap, there's a lot of ads on The Gamer. Avowed tops best sellers on Steam despite backlash. There's going to be a lot of coping. There's going to be a lot of coping in this. Despite the backlash of the game not being that good or people not enjoying their time with it, overall, yes, there are, as we said earlier in the stream, there are pockets of people that are enjoying it. I just X'd this ad out and it just came right back. There are pockets of people that are enjoying it, and that's great. I'm happy for you guys. But overwhelmingly, I'm not seeing people that are saying the game is trash or garbage. I'm seeing people that are saying that the game is mid, that it's the definition of average. And that isn't going to work in a sea of other games in this genre that have come before it that aren't average, that are above average. Holy crap, these ads are crazy. They just keep coming back. So despite initial criticism, the cope, Avowed has become a critical and commercial success. We're going to need to have definitions of what critical and commercial success means, because that means absolutely nothing to me. Avowed peaks at over 17,000 players. Holy crap, these ads. Holy crap. That's why I never come here. Avowed peaks at over 17,000 players on the day of release. On the day of full release, sorry. Making it a success for Obsidian. Who said this? Obsidian? What are they going to come forward and say, oh, that's a failure? Yeah, okay. Oh my God, that's great. That's great. Skyler says 17K players on release day is nothing. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 peaked at over 200,000 concurrent. Avowed is the best-selling game on Steam in the United States. Well, you got to make sure you specify it, because it's not even the best-selling game outside of the United States. Avowed is an interesting release for Obsidian. Despite the studio's pedigree for role-playing experiences, Avowed is Obsidian's first attempt at a first-person fantasy RPG, subgenre popularized by Elder Scrolls. The game's 5-day advanced access period, which again, don't get me started on what a shit show that is, for players who purchased the game's premium edition, didn't go down particularly well. And criticism of Avowed role-playing elements began to spread, which, by the way, I would argue, that's why you don't ever do that. Because you give early access to a group of people that are willing to pay a premium price for it, and then the word spreads from trusted sources in the industry or on YouTube that people look to for advice and information, like Vara Dark, like Hypnotic, like Atreus is even playing it. Like, all these people that are playing the game are looking to these sources for information before the game comes out on full release. I don't know if Atreus got it early, but I know the other two did. And once they get their hands on it, they're going to start influencing people. So you have a better chance at selling more of your game and getting the hype levels higher if it's available for everyone all at the same time. Not a lot more, but at least more. And I wonder if they've done the numbers and run the numbers in the back room and be like, we'll make more money if we charge more and give 5-day early access than if we just release it to everyone at the same price all in the same day. But I would point at this situation and say that was not a good idea. Despite this negative sentiment, Avowed is a critical hit, holding an average score of 82 on OpenCritic. Huh. That's fascinating. What? Why are we using OpenCritic? That's a weird one. Hold on a second. Hey, that's interesting. So when I go to the site, it's got an 82 on OpenCritic. That's great. Dragon Age has an 80. Again, with these words that they use to say they're coping so hard. It's a critical hit. That means absolutely nothing. And Dragon Age the Veilguard proved that. Proponents of Avowed also expressed their satisfaction with the game and were unhappy with the prevailing sentiment emerging from content creators and influencers. Holy crap, the cope is insane. Hypnotic, I don't know if you're in here or if you're still streaming or if you're doing something else. This is how you know that we have influence that they can't stand, because people look to people like Hypnotic and Varadark. Those are the two that at least I watch personally for this game specifically, and a lot of other games, obviously. But there are plenty of other content creators out there. These words matter. When Hypnotic is playing the game, just casually saying, oh, yeah, I don't like this, or I do like this, but this part, this kind of knocks this, but this is actually better here. People are taking that all in to form their opinion. And then when Hypnotic is like, yeah, no, this game is the definition of mid. It's got good things, it's got bad things, and it's just very mid. That's what he goes back to. It's not terrible. It's not incredible. It's just very, very average. What even, hold on a second. Whoops. What even is this sentence, by the way? Proponents of Avowed also express their satisfaction with the game. What? They have a whole different article covering Avowed fans are sick of the negativity. What does this even mean? What even is this? What are they even referencing? Of course, fans of a game would be sick of negativity. They don't want negativity on a game that they like. You could say that to any game that ever existing in the history. It's not just even games. It's movies. It's board games. It's like whatever you enjoy in life. If you have other people saying, "Oh, we don't like that," you would say, you could make a story saying you're sick of the negativity. I like this. Stop saying you don't like this game. What even is this article? What a useless article. And they sourced themselves. Which is the best part about this. They sourced themselves. And were unhappy with the prevailing sentiment emerging from content creators and influencers. Oh, the people that people look to and trust for their opinions. those people. It should be noted that Avowed debuted to very positive review scores on Steam and has maintained this rating following its full release. Fair point, except for, and I haven't done the research on this, but we don't know if Obsidian was getting negative reviews removed or what they. Hold on a second. Da, da, da. So review type, there's around 2,800 positive and around 700 negative. That's not that great. Hold on. That's not that great. That's 1 out of every 5 people, or 1 out of every 6 people do not like the game. And that's with a lot of people posting positive things for it. But hey, again, when Hypnotic says the definition of mid, I believe it. Save your money because this game will go on sale after 6 months. It will go on sale. This game will go on sale in 2 months. Like, mark my word. April, there'll be a sale. This game is $20 or $30 off in April. I'll say 30. It'll be $39.99 on sale in April. You watch. LBC Andrew says Metacritic's user score is 6.9. Nice. But anyways, I digress. I just wanted to showcase that there's a very one-sided tilt to this article. Now, following Avowed's full release on February 18th, the game is off to a respectable commercial start. Oh, the cope. Oh, the cope. Despite being available on Game Pass, the cope, why are they running such defense for this game? It's wild. They're bending over backwards to make excuses for a terrible number. Avowed peaked at over 17,000 concurrent players. This peak is approximately 5,000 players higher than Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Another Game Pass title. That is another massive flop. These are terrible numbers. I don't know what they're bouncing off. Like, of course, they're trying to look for something worse to be like, look, it's better than that. Compared to other games where it's paling to. According to a Reddit thread from Homemade Shock, Avowed is currently the best-selling title on Steam in the United States, beating out pre-orders from Monster Hunters and purchases of Kingdom Come. Yeah, because everyone already bought Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. It maxed out at 200,000 concurrent players. Of course it's going to beat that. Oh my God, this is insane. This isn't entirely surprising given a large portion of players purchase a game on its release date, but it's still worth noting. No, it's not. You're obfuscating the information by doing that. You're making it sound like it's better than it really is. This is some insane coping. Avowed's 17,000 player peak on Steam isn't far off the peak numbers for the Outer Worlds. They are reaching so hard. One of Obsidian's most successful releases. Given the number of players likely playing the game, here we go. Now we're going to start just making huge assumptions. The number of players likely playing it on Game Pass, Avowed will likely be Avowed will likely be considered a commercial success for Obsidian. Wait. Didn't you say earlier? Despite initial criticism, Avowed has become a critical and commercial success. This is a statement of fact here that you completely ruin when you say the contradiction. Avowed will likely. It's gone from it is to it's likely halfway down the article. Obsidian will be hoping to replicate this success. No, they'll be hoping to do a lot better than this. The Outer Worlds 2 later this year. A trailer debuted at December's Game Awards ceremony, but no specific release date was confirmed. It's been a prolific period for Obsidian, with the studio releasing 6 games over the last 4 years, a rare pace in modern development. I would agree with that, by the way. And I would argue that's not a great thing to be doing. I feel like that's when you start losing your focus. Games become mid. Environments become not interactable. The game world becomes walled off and gated, where it feels like there's just 4 different areas. It doesn't feel like a living, breathing world. It feels just like 4 sections of a game. Man, that was some insane cope. CJ says, I don't really see Avowed sales the same way you guys do. There are literally almost double as many people playing Valheim currently years after release compared to Avowed. And it was made with a team of 5 people. Honestly, large productions like this need to do some serious soul searching on why they aren't getting more sales. That is amazing. Game Pass has 34 million subscribers. Here comes some cope. Valheim is not on Game Pass anymore, so there's no way to objectively compare financial success to Avowed. Sure there is. It was a team of 5 people compared to how many hundreds of people working at Obsidian on this. That being said, the more they put into their game, the better. Avowed is very fun, but it does seem a little unfinished in some areas. Obsidian has so much potential. I don't know why Microsoft doesn't pump more money into them and make a humongous game and advertise it like crazy. I feel like they made a business decision to say, you know what? We don't need to make the greatest game ever. It doesn't have to be perfect. We just need to get a game out there. It doesn't matter if it's mid. We can pump it out on Game Pass and get the subscriber numbers up on Game Pass and sell Game Pass as this thing for our investors, which is all they care about. I just found it wild that they're trying to community note me with that and saying it's not a flop based off of an outlet sourcing themselves with an article that I could have written in my sleep about any form of entertainment that exists. TM Togdollar says they will all get fired. 17K on opening day is a failure. If this community note actually goes through and gets approved, there is some major problems on X, because this would be showing that the wokies are trying to take back X and push their own agendas, when it's like, no, this game flopped. It was a flop. In my opinion, it was a flop based off of the team size and the amount of people. This game feels like it's dead on arrival based off of what I've seen. I don't see many people disagreeing. Now, that doesn't mean you can't like the game. That doesn't mean you can't think the game is good. But when you look at the numbers and you see right now 15,482, let's refresh. Oof. 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 I mean, I know it's getting later at night, but I didn't expect a 3,000 player drop off right there. Whoa. Oof. That is not good. That is not good. Yeah. So that is Avowed. That's a situation with Avowed, and it's a flop, no matter how much they try to community note me.